I thought you mentioned me.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, please.
First of all, I'd like to note that it appears there's been a bit of dishonesty in this withdrawal. I don't think it's intentional, but it's not just boring that's going, but also the Kelso area. In other words, the other branch of Line 84. Overall, as a transit advocate and user, I hate the idea of the area leaving the district in the loss of routes and service coverage. It appears that Boring even had service before the 1970s when private operators provided transit. That being said, I led somewhat of a joyride recently on Line 84 after hearing the area go to check it out. After leaving Southeast Gresham, where everyone besides our group got off, a grand total of one person got on the bus. One of us consulted with the operator who told us that was unusual, that normally no one rides that out there. And for the record, that did not occur in Boring. We went through there without dropping off or picking up anybody. Looking at the ridership data, it appears that most trips are likewise empty. Ordinarily, I'd argue that low ridership calls for working to improve ridership. After all, additional riders can usually be added at least to existing trips for very low cost and are essentially profitable. But given the few amount of people in the area, it seems that there may be little chance of that happening. And that even if ridership improved, it still would not meet the district standards. As for Lyft users, it sounds like many of them can be otherwise accommodated. And moreover, it sounds like it even has a whole year for the district to do that. I've heard that some of them actually live in Sandy and transfer to Lyft. If so, why isn't Sandy Transit transporting them at least to Gresham where their fixed route goes? It's my understanding that Canby Area Transit brings their Lyft riders all the way into Oregon City Transit Center and transfers them there instead of at the random place on district boundary. I would suggest a resolution calling for a study of Lyft users to see if they can be reaccommodated, but I am not sure the district can enjoy the tax adjustment provision if it does wait, a provision that will be beneficial to the district instead of harmful. Overall, an honest analysis of the situation brings me down to this. The Boring-Kelso area is rural, as President Van Beveren has mentioned, and Trinent is an urban service. For better or worse, the district has one level of service, and the cost of a service hour on Line 84 is roughly the same as on Line 72. The buses are the same, the operator gets paid the same, gets the same benefits, the overhead is the same. I dislike the anti-government rhetoric that exists in our country today, but that is not what I hear from the petitioner. Instead, I hear of a person who has a sincere problem and not done their homework. And lastly, if transit service is desirable, I would encourage Clackamas County to work with Ride Connection or some other way and have like a bus that maybe goes to Boring, like has a fixed route stop in Boring, but also can deviate off route to pick up any disabled or general public. The bottom line is, if I were a judge in this situation, I would consider it a slam dunk to allow him to go. I don't want him to go, but it makes best sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So at this time, I'll ask